Green card through employment. If a company in the United States or a US citizen cannot find a worker to fill a certain position, the employer can sponsor a foreign national to obtain a green card so he can work for that employer. The government will provide the green card to the foreign person, provided the employer demonstrates that he cannot find a qualified, able, available, and willing US worker, and that he can pay him the prevailing wage. This green card can be obtained by people living in the US or living abroad. To accomplish this objective, the government divided this process into 3 different steps. Labor certification to test the labor market. An immigrant petition to prove that the employer has the financial ability to pay the salary and that the employee has the requirements of the position. The request of the green card made by the foreign worker. Now let's see the first part of the process. Labor certification. It must be filed with the Department of Labor, DOL, by an employer and must comply with the regulations under the PERM process. The purpose of the labor certification is to prove that the employer has tested the labor market to ensure there is no US worker who can fill the job opening. If there is such a US citizen, then the employer cannot sponsor the foreign employee for that particular job. Have your employer draft a job description and job requirements for the position. This is one of the most important parts of the process because this information will be used to test the labor market. The requirements should specify if education is needed or not and how many years of experience are required. Ensure you meet the requirements listed in the job description. To file the labor certification online, the employer must create an account, fill in the company information, and designate a contact person. File a prevailing wage request with DOL. The prevailing wage is the minimum wage that the employer must pay the employee once he or she receives the green card. The prevailing wage is determined by the specific job requirements. To test the labor market, the employer must recruit for the position by running various advertisements and monitoring whether there are any qualified applicants for the position. Once this is done for the time periods laid out by the DOL, the employer may file the application. All advertising and legal fees for this step must be paid by the employer, not the employee. Run the mandatory advertisements. There are 3 mandatory forms of recruitment that an employer must run for each case. The employer must post a notice of the job opening in a conspicuous location in the workplace. It should contain the job description, requirements, and information regarding how to apply for the job. This must be posted for at least 10 business days when the employer is open for business. The employer must post an advertisement in 2 Sunday editions of a newspaper of general circulation in the geographic area of employment. This should contain the job description, job requirements, and information regarding how to apply for the job. It might also need to include other information that is required by the specific state workforce agency. This must be posted for 30 calendar days. Run additional advertisements if the job is a professional job defined by DOL. Complete all recruitment between 60 and 180 days. If after analyzing and interviewing applicants, the employer verifies that no qualified, willing, and able US workers applied for the position, the labor certification can be filed with the DOL. Once the labor certification is approved, then the employer must fill out an immigrant petition on Form I-140. In this step, the employer will file the form with the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to demonstrate that a labor certification was approved, that the employer has the financial ability to pay the employee's salary, that the foreign employee complies with the requirement of the position. Once Form I-140 is approved, the foreign national may apply for a green card through an adjustment of status if present in the U.S., or through a U.S. embassy or consulate abroad if not present in the U.S. In this stage, the person must demonstrate that he does not have a serious criminal background, that he did not violate immigration laws, and that he is healthy. Spouses and children under 21 years of age can apply with the main beneficiary and temporary working and travel permits, which are requested while the government processes the case. The foreign national can only apply for a green card if there's currently a green card available. Determine if there is a green card available by checking the visa bulletin issued monthly by the Department of State. A job that requires a master's degree or a bachelor's degree plus 5 years of experience will place the foreign national in the EB2 preference category. All other jobs with lesser requirements will place the foreign national in the EB3 or other worker preference category. The PERM labor certification application is a complicated process that we make easy for our clients. Let our experience be your guide. Galler Law Firm.